Let's talk about some key storylines for Week 5. Next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here with Dan Schneier, and we're going to talk about 3 key storylines that we're going to be keeping an eye on Sunday for Week 5. But first, Dan, you got some beat the waiver wire targets for us?
I got some beat the waiver wire targets I'm looking at. I want to start with the Mitchell brothers, even though they're not brothers, but they're both named Mitchell. And I'm going to start with Elijah Mitchell, the backup running back for the San Francisco 49ers. Look, there's nothing to suggest anything's going to change any minute, but we are dealing with the number one backup behind a Christian McCaffrey-led backfield. And I know lately Christian McCaffrey has been very healthy, but he has a track record of some nagging soft tissue injuries. So you get a guy on the best offense in football, probably outside of the quarterback position, and the most talent, the best offensive line. So why not? I like the idea a lot. I also like getting Keaton Mitchell. He was a rookie who I was on my radar from the draft just because he was insanely fast, and you could see it on the field. A lot of the reason Devin Achane has won is because he goes one cut, he gets vertical, and he's gone with the Dolphins. Now, that may not happen with the Ravens. They don't have the same offensive system or genius running that offense, but they have a pretty good-looking offense, and it's getting better and better with Todd Monken. They got injuries there. So Keaton Mitchell is someone I'm very interested in there. And I got a couple more running backs and receivers if you want to know, if you want to just go a little rapid fire through. Sure. Jeff Wilson on the Dolphins, Raheem Mostert starting to fumble the football a lot. They like a two-man approach. Wilson was somebody they liked a lot last year and trusted a lot last year. He might be back off the IR soon. You can get him now off the IR. And one guy I just love, and I know Jacob Gibbs has been touting him a lot, Rashee Rice on the Chiefs, the rookie wide receiver. Look, if he gets that snap share up, he's going to be a fantasy asset on a weekly basis because he's getting
his target per route run rate is one of the highest in the NFL. I think it's been like 35% this season. It's a really high rate. Now, partially that's a function of he's only running routes about 50% of the time right now. But the ability to win, when you're looking for, can someone who's showing flashes continue to build? That's a profile that you should look for. You should look for a guy who is showing the ability to win when he's on the field and has a path to more playing time. And that's what we're hoping Rashee Rice has. Looks like we're having some internet problems for Dan. Yep, Dan's having some internet problems. So when he comes back, we'll continue to talk with him. But what I want to talk about is 3 storylines to watch. And obviously, I think there are 2 obvious ones with 2 significant names who look like they're going to be returning from injuries this week, and we want to know what they look like in their offenses. So we'll start off with Cooper Kupp for the Los Angeles Rams. There's a report on Friday afternoon from Diane Rossini that it sounds like he is going to give it a go. Obviously, we'll see if there's any kind of setback leading up to the game. Hopefully not, but sounds like he's going to play as of Friday afternoon. We're recording this. You'll hear this on Saturday morning. And it's not just what does Cooper Kupp look like. It's what kind of impact does he have on this offense as a whole, because this has been, Puka Nacua has been the number one option in this Rams offense. And he's doing a lot of the things that Cooper Kupp does. But I think the comp that a lot of people have made for how he's playing is more Robert Woods. And I like that comp. We've seen Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp both be very good fantasy options in this offense in 2021, Cooper Kupp had a average 26.2 PPR points per game in the first 9 games of the season. Robert Woods was at 15.6. So there's still plenty of room for both of those guys. And Dan, you're back.
I'm back.
So one of the things we want to watch is Cooper Kupp's status. And what do you expect from him this week? And I guess the big question is, what if Cooper Kupp comes out, looks like Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua has a bad game? How are we going to react then?
That is big reaction time. I think he was a full participant or listed as one, which was an incredibly good sign for Cooper Kupp. I think that rapport is so established between him and Matthew Stafford that he will pick up right where he left off. Now, what does it mean for Puka? I think it's going to be fine. I've seen Sean McVay have a system with 2 wide receivers, funneling targets to those 2. This is a very concentrated offense like the Dolphins was last year with Waddle and Hill. And I think it's going to be fine for both receivers. So I'm excited about both. And in some ways, I think like the only issue is Puka has started to really do a lot of good work in the slot. That's going to be gone. He can line up on the outside, and he has, but some of the best work he's done has been in the slot. That's my one concern. But I think having Kupp on the field ultimately should help Puka because it should shift coverage towards him.
All right, let's move on to the other similar situation with Jonathan Taylor coming back from his injury. Also sounds like he's going to play. I'm projecting it to be a split backfield, And I won't be surprised if it is. I won't be disappointed. But given that he's been a full participant in practice all week, the only question is he in shape and is he up to speed on the offense? So there is a chance that Taylor comes out, gets 65% of the snaps this week, and it's just all systems go right now. Do you think he can be a top 5 running back in this offense?
It's tough for me because I think, look, it's a new coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is it a new coaching staff, but Zach Moss has proven that he deserves to be on a football field for this team. He's done a lot for this team to help them win football games up until now. I think he's done enough for him to just be a part of this offense rest of season. So I don't know if people came into this expecting Taylor to be a workhorse. I wasn't sure, but I leaned toward that. I don't think that's happening, but I still think he can probably find some fantasy effectiveness. Top 5 is not going to happen for me because of Moss's inclusion, but maybe top 10, maybe top 12 in this offense that's better than expected, moving the ball a lot faster than we expected on a consistent basis, in scoring position a lot more than we expected. Will Richardson steal some of those touches in the red zone? Sure. Yeah. That was always a big concern for us going into the year. But if the offense is healthier overall, that's always a good thing for fantasy football. So I have him more in the top 12 range.
And then the last one is just, the ice under Alexander Mattison has seemingly gotten a bit thicker with his last 2 games. He's rushed for over 90 yards in each of those past 2 games. But we did get reports last week that, the Vikings were open to a hot hand approach at running back. Cam Akers, I thought, looked pretty good. He only had, a handful of carries. So Mattison was still the clear lead back, but it's going to be a constant subplot unless Mattison just keeps ripping off 90+ yard games, is how long can he hold on to this job? I still feel like he might be one more fumble away. So that's going to be something we keep an eye on. He's in the RB2 range for me this week. I also view him as a sell high candidate. So yeah, that's one that we're definitely going to be watching. You have any thoughts on Alexander Mattison versus Cam Akers?
I think you nailed it. I just want to keep an eye on the fumbles with him.
All right, that's going to do it for FFT and 5. We'll be back tomorrow to help you set your lineups on Sunday morning. We'll see you then.